fold into this melody. Join in with Taran if you want. Just fold into the melody. Shabbat Shalom. Oh, wow, Jamie, it is totally different with the monitor up here. Wow, that's crazy. We changed the sound system around, so it's, for me, it's, whoa. I'm just so excited to see everyone here. And for those of you who are expecting us to be outside, we did make the decision not to be because it is currently, 90 degrees outside right now. So, yeah, we're not doing that. I was pushing for it up until the last minute, but yeah, that's not happening. It was absolutely fantastic last week, and it will be absolutely fantastic next week, because we're going to do Shabbat services outside next week, provided it stays. If we're in the 70s, we'll be good. If it's in the 80s or 90s, probably not. But even still, even though we're in an air-conditioned building right now, we still drink some water. If you need to bring some water in here to stay hydrated, totally do that. If you're one of the 60% of Seattleites that does have it, that does not, 60% of Seattleites, 40% of Seattleites that does have an air conditioning, congratulations to you. Give me your address. That would be fantastic. I have a poem to reflect that in a minute. Mostly, I'm just so glad we're here to be together, to be calm with Taran and Andy's amazing music. We thank you to Jamie for your help in the back, Stephanie and Andy, and just the beauty of a nice, calm summer Shabbat together. For those of you joining in the home, we hope you're nice and cool, relax, grab some Shabbat candles so we can just enjoy this moment together. Even though we're inside tonight for health reasons, we're going to try to keep it nice and relaxed. So relax, informal yourself, relax yourself a bit. It'll be nice and chill. On page number 2, we're going to welcome Shabbat by lighting the candles, and I'm going to make the decision of calling up 2 13-year-olds to use fire. Avi and Luca, come on up to help us light the Shabbat candles. They're also becoming bar mitzvah next weekend, next Shabbat, so join us then as well. It's going to be marvelous. Who's doing it? Avi's doing it. Mom, are you okay with that? Okay. For those of you joining at home as well, light those 2 beautiful candles. Let those flames flicker, and we welcome in this sacred day together. You know how to do it? So you're going to, one finger, roll this forward, another finger, use the trigger. You okay with matches? That's a weird question to ask, isn't it? And it broke? We got it. Just a good sound, too. Just a good sound. Better than last week. Last week, you realized the complexities of lighting candles outside. You just shake that off. All right. Page number 2. Let's bring in the lights of Shabbat together.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kedeshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Avi, Luca, thank you both very much. Before we do a couple songs for the Shabbat, I want to offer a poem. We like using poetry to welcome us into Shabbat. I'm going to use a poem I found. I've been trying to explore different poetry over the course of this year. This one is by a current poet. He wrote this poem about 6 years ago. His name is Richard Henry Wilde Dillard, and the poem is appropriately called The Great Summer Sun. Right? There we go. Today I don't feel down as much as dazed, as though the summer sun and thick hot heat has emptied early all the livelong day, has somehow drained the better part away of what I am, may be, might wish to be, to summer indolence and summer haze. Layers of leaves filter the sun's hot rays into quick trembles and green sway. A breeze, yes, but hot, smothered, even the shade, less shadow than muted heat. Shelter betrayed, this tangle of shrubs, hung vines, bent trees, a chaos, clutter of light and leaf, dismay. Then finally twilight, sunset, sun's last blaze, a first star so bright it seems unreal. The curving winks of fireflies in the gray that slowly fills the air, a moving spray of speckled light, the rising night, peals of stars, stars, a sky ringing with praise. On page 20, V'chado D, welcoming in Shabbat together. We'll be singing verses 1, 2, 5, and 9. I'll announce those as we go, and some have the tradition to stand for that 9th and final verse to face the door to greet Shabbat. But let's sing all together in here and at home the words of V'chado D. Tradition, we rise to greet Shabbat at the rear door.
בואי בשלום, עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובצהלה, תוך אמוני עם סגולה. בואי חלה, בואי חלה, לך דודי לקראת חלה, בני שבת
Please be seated.
נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת חלה, בני שבת נקבלה.
We use these first few songs to welcome Shabbat and welcome each other. On page 24, the ministering angels on Shabbat say, Shalom Aleichem, peace and welcome to you. And we respond in kind. And this can be also an encouragement for you as well. After services tonight, to find someone in this community you don't know or don't know too well and say hi. Welcome someone new. Welcome someone you've known for a long time. Good chance just to meet and talk and get to know someone. Shalom Aleichem, page 24.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachi Hasharet, Malachi Elyon, Mi Melech, Malchi Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Bolechem Shalom, Malachi Hashalom, Malachi Elyon. Melech Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruchuni l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Seitchem shalom, Malachi Hashalom, Malachi Elyon. Melech Malchi Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
Just take a moment to breathe. Warmed up and ready, well, it's a bad metaphor. Warmed up and ready to go. We enter into our evening prayers, which begin on page 28 for Baruch Hu. We welcome you to rise either physically or in spirit. Baruch Hu.
Yai dai dai, yai dai 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 dai. Yai dai dai, yai dai 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 dai. Yai dai 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 dai. Yai dai dai, yai dai 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 dai. Yai dai dai, yai dai 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 dai. Yai dai dai, yai dai 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 dai. Yai dai 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 dai. Yai dai dai, yai dai 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 dai. Baruch Hu, et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach leolam va'ed. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach leolam va'ed. Yai dai dai, yai dai 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 dai. Yai dai dai, yai dai 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 dai. Yai dai 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 dai. Yai dai 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 dai.
you're standing, you're welcome to be seated. Page 30. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bidvaro ma'ariv aravim. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, who speaks the evening into being, skillfully opens the gates, thoughtfully alters the time and changes the seasons, and arranges the stars in their heavenly courses according to plan. You are creator of day and night, rolling away light from darkness and darkness from light, transforming day into night and distinguishing one from the other. Adonai Tzavaot is your name. Ever-living God, may you continually reign over us into eternity. Blessed are you, Adonai, who brings on evening. Baruch atah Adonai, hama'ariv aravim. Avat Olam, page 32.
Ahavat olam, Beit Yisrael, amachavta. Torah u'mitzvot, chukim u'mishpatim, otanu lemadeta. Al kein Adonai Eloheinu, b'shochveinu uvkumeinu, nasiach bechukecha, v'nismach b'divrei Toratecha, uv'mitzvotecha, leolam va'ed. Ki hem hayenu ve'orech yameinu, uvahem negei yomam v'layla. Ki hem hayenu ve'orech yameinu, uvahem negei yomam v'layla. Ki hem hayenu ve'orech yameinu, uvahem negei yomam v'layla. Ki hem hayenu ve'orech yameinu, uvahem negei yomam v'layla. Ki hem hayenu ve'orech yameinu, uvahem negei yomam v'layla. Ki hem hayenu ve'orech yameinu, uvahem negei yomam v'layla. V'avtachtecha al tasir mimenu le'olamim. Baruch ata Adonai, ohev amo Yisrael.
Page 34, the words of Shema, declaring the oneness of our people, declaring the oneness of God. Take a moment and find yourself in position that you're most comfortable. Some choose to stand, some choose to remain seated. But put yourself where you can be aware of yourself. And together we sing Shema as one.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto, Leolam Va'ed. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto, Leolam Va'ed. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
If you're standing, you're welcome to be seated. Join together in Ve'ahavta on the following page.
Sorry, turn page.
Page number 36.
Ve'ahavta את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך, ובלכתך בדרך, ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לעוד על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בעין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם באמת.
Page 42. Hashkivenu, a prayer added to the evening service centuries ago. It's a way to recognize that the night ahead may be uncertain or unclear. Over time, this prayer has evolved into words of comfort and strength as the sun starts to fall, we drift off to sleep. So let's sing together the beautiful words on page 42, Hashkivenu.
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom, l'shalom. Hamidenu malkeinu l'chaim. Uvros aleinu sukat shlomecha, uvros aleinu sukat shlomecha. Shelter us beneath thy wings, O Adonai. Guard us from all harmful things, O Adonai. Keep us safe throughout the night, till we wake with morning light. Teach us, God, wrong from right. Amen. 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 Amen.
Page 46, we transition to the next section of our service, the Amidah. We'll be chanting together the prayers over the next few pages. We welcome you to rise, either physically or spiritually, the Amidah, page 46.
Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi agita hilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu ve'imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor, V'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, Vekone Yaakov Zocher Chastei Avot V'Imaot, Umevi Geula Livnei V'neihem, Leman Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer Umoshia Umagin, Baruch Atah Adonai, Magin Avraham Ezrat Sarah. Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechayeh HaKol Atah Rav Lehoshia, Morid Hatal, Mechakel Chaim Bechesed, Mechayeh HaKol Berachamim Rabim, Somech Noflim Verofech Olim, Umatir Asurim, Umekayem Emunato, Vishenei Afar, Michamocha Ba'al Gevurot, Umidom Elach, Melech Memit Umechayeh, Umatzmiach Yeshua, V'ne'eman Atal HaChayot HaKol, Baruch Atah Adonai, Mechayeh HaKol, Atah Kadosh, V'Shimcha Kadosh, Ukedoshim B'chol Yom Yehalelucha Selah, Baruch Atah Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh.
Let's take the next few moments for your own silent prayer through page 62. Once you've taken the time that you need, you're welcome to be seated.
Adonai tzuri v'go'ali. Go inside your heart, just be true. Go inside your heart and see what it wants, what it needs, what it yearns when you breathe. Go
Page 253. It's crucial that we also offer a prayer for healing in this pandemic that continues, healing for those who struggle daily in body, mind, and spirit, healing, love, and support for those who face discrimination, for who they love, the color of their skin, where they're from, or how they pray, for those impacted from all sorts of conditions made by humanity and made by Mother Earth around the world. We pray for those in need, that we may offer love and comfort and support where we can. We invite you at home and you in the sanctuary to offer names out loud, if you choose, of loved ones to add to this prayer for healing at this time.
Allie Weber. Misha Berach Avoteinu, Misha Berach Imoteinu, Hu Yevarech Virapei HaCholim. May the Holy One in mercy give them strength. May the Holy One grant healing to them soon, body and soul. Misha Berach Avoteinu, Misha Berach Imoteinu, Hu Yevarech Virapei HaCholim Ben Aman.
Amen. The great 18th century satirist Jonathan Swift once quipped, "Promises and pie crust are meant to be broken." While I hope that we don't readily make it a practice to break promises, which sure can be challenging, especially on relationships and friendships, the potential danger of broken promises and broken pie crusts, the damage can amount to a lot. As quoted by the great Marilyn Monroe, promises are worse than lies. You don't just make them believe, you also make them hope. There's a lot on the line when you forge a close relationship and rely on others, making promises and holding to them. Rabbi Cheryl Peretz quotes the opening words from this week's double Torah portion, Matot Maseh, the last two portions of the book of Numbers. Moses spoke to the heads of the tribes of the children of Israel, saying, "This is the thing that God commanded. If a person takes a vow to God or swears an oath, they shall not desecrate their word. According to whatever comes from their mouth, they will do." The Torah cautions us against desecrating our words, reminding us that we must live up to that which we promise. If we make a promise, says Torah, we must be prepared to live by it and uphold it. Moses experiences this firsthand as he's trying to navigate these very last moments of the time in the wilderness. Educator Beth Am explains that we are approaching the climactic scene where the Israelites enter the promised land, the land that God promised to Abraham and his descendants. However, there's a problem with the tribes of Reuven and Gad, G-A-D. Well, technically Gimel Daled, but G-A-D, not G-O-D. You see, Reuven, they're currently on the east side, all the tribes on the east side of the Jordan River, waiting to cross over into the promised land, which, by the way, is why it's called today now the West Bank, even though it's on the east side of the country, because it's the West Bank of the Jordan River. Anyway. As it says, Reuben in this text, Reuben and Gad have cattle in very great numbers. They are a herding tribe, and they have found that the land that they've already taken over on the east side of the Jordan River to be quite good at raising cattle. As such, they want to stay there. They want that to become their land so they can continue with this fertile land for their animals. So the leaders approach Moses and request that this land is their inheritance and that they not cross over to the other side of the Jordan. Simply stated, Moses was ticked. He said that the tribes of Reuben and Gad broke their promise to stay with the other tribes, which would stay as one people until the end, until they entered the promised land. Moses is not happy at all and rants about them for the next many verses. Moses' objection is numerous, including that if they stay behind, the rest of the tribes would go off to war, and they would just stay back and do nothing. Moses escalates his concerns and his objections, saying that those two tribes are actually undermining the very confidence and relationship of the people themselves by breaking this promise. He concludes his tirade by saying, if you turn away from God, who abandons them in the wilderness, you will bring calamity on this people. Moses is so torn apart by what he sees as broken promises and failed oaths. However, it seems that Moses misunderstood the requests of the tribes of Reuben and Gad. They're not looking to get out of the conquest, just to build homes for their children on the side of the Jordan River, and they offer to send their troops forward to continue with the conquering of the land, even while the rest of the people stay in the fertile herding space. And they say that their troops will not return home until every one of the people of Israel are in possession of their portion of land. Moses accepts this proposal, gives them the land on the other side of the Jordan. But even still, Moses emphasizes that if they don't follow through to help them settle the land as one people, that they have sinned against God, and God will not forget that. The Reubenites and the Gadites agree. Moses lets his successors know about their arrangements, and they continue on into the land of Israel. So why does Moses react so strongly when this was quite easily resolved? This goes back to the opening verses about the importance of a promise or an oath. In the Torah world, a person would never consider making a pledge to God and then default on it, especially for your fellow tribes or people. It was unimaginable and truly shocking. However, the later rabbis recognized that people did and do sometimes default on promises. We're not perfect. For this reason, the Mishnah, the first book of rabbinic law, cautions us against promising more than we should. Rabbi Yehuda says, better is the person who vows and pays, meaning who completes. Rabbi Meir says, better to not vow at all. Vows and promises are not bad. They're just serious business. Rav Meir and Rav Yehuda help us face the truth that sometimes people do default on their promises. Nowhere is there more poignantly depicted than in the Kol Nidre prayer that we recite the evening of Yom Kippur. That prayer itself, Kol Nidre, all of the oaths we make, we ask that God absolve us of all of our promises that we failed to keep in the past year or will fail to keep in the next year. We hope that God hears that prayer, and by the end of Kol Nidre, we end this service with saying that God has forgiven according to our words. But still, why the overemphasis of the original commandments and the further validation of this through Moses' stern condemnation of the tribes of Reuven and Gad? The great Rashi comments that this phrase, "one shall not desecrate their word," reminds us that words and promises are a sacred trust. Sacred relationships between humans and God, between humans and humans, develop through honesty and trust. Broken words lead to broken trust, which can lead to broken relationships. Words promises and words fulfilled can build trust, restore faith, and seal relationships. Rabbi Joseph Skloot notes that Moses knows that Reuven and Gad have a larger purpose in the fabric of the Israeli community. He wanted them to know and understand that it wasn't just about land or about war. It's about how they made a commitment, a relationship, a sacred foundation with each other. That meant to be preserved. While we are in trying times where conflicts, disagreements, and difficult relationships abound, even though we're not meant to be like those in the Torah, who see promises, oaths, and vows as a black and white situation, we can still heed the lesson of watching our words, following through with what we commit to, and above all, seeking to preserve and honor the relationships in our lives, knowing that small acts have big impacts. So promises and pie crusts are not meant to be broken. And promises do give us hope. So it's up to each of us and the collective us to maintain the power of our words and our commitments to each other. Words hold weight. Relationships remain firm. So let us honor them the best that we can. With that, we continue towards the final few prayers of our service, which begins with Aleinu Lishabeach on 282 at the bottom of the page. We'll do the one at the bottom of the page tonight, page 282. If it's your tradition, we invite you to rise physically or spiritually for Aleinu Lishabeach.
Aleinu Lishabeach Ladon HaKol, Latet Gedula Liotse Bereshit, Shelo Asanu Kikoye Haratzot, Velo Samanu Kamishpachot Hadama, Shelo Sam Chelkenu Kahem, Vigor Aleinu Kechol Hamonam, Va'anachnu Korim, Umishtachavim Umodim, Lifnei Melech Malchei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu V'nemar Adonai Lemelech Al Kol Haaretz Mayom Hahu Yehyeh Adonai Echad Ushemo Echad Ushemo Echad.
If you're standing, please be seated. Page 293. Our thoughts turn to those who have departed this earth, our own loved ones, those whom our friends and neighbors have lost, the martyrs of our people whose graves are unmarked, and those of every race and nation whose lives have been a blessing to humanity. As we remember them, we meditate on the meaning of love and loss, of life and death. This week, our community is in a period of Shaloshim, the 30 days of mourning, for Betty Sussman, founding member of Temple Beth Am, mother of 4, grandmother of 28, great-grandmother of 68, great-great-grandmother of 4. Heather Raff, mother of Michael, grandmother of Grace. We'd also like to remember the lives of all those lost in the Kentucky floods this week. We observe the the anniversary of passing of Alethea Becker, Alexandra Kiselev, Allison Rose, Alvin Korch, Chaim Silverman, Charles Lupo, Eliza Lempert, Fred Wittow, Gail Lerner Conahan, Harry Rothstein, Hermine Tobolowski, Israel Naor, Jack French, Jacqueline Pitagorski, James Papa George, Lillian Wittenberg, Paul Widlinger, Philip Kahn, Richard Merrick, Robert Fleischman, Robert Lavico, Roger J. Bicey, Ronald Davis, Sarah Little, Shirley B. Margolin, Shirley Guterson, Steve Glassman. If any names have been forgotten or mispronounced, we invite you at home and in the sanctuary to add them to our Kaddish list at this time. If you're in the first 7 days of mourning, you're welcome to rise. If you're in the first 30 days of mourning, you're welcome to rise. If you're in the first year of mourning, you're welcome to rise. If you're observing a yahrzeit on this Shabbat, you're welcome to rise. If it's your tradition to rise in love and solidarity, you're welcome to do so as we continue with the Mourner's Kaddish on page 294. Yitgedal v'yitkedash Shemei Rabbah, Be'alma dirach yurte v'yamlich malchute, V'chayechon uvyomechom, uvchaye d'chol Beit Israel, V'agala uvizman kariv v'imru Amen. Yehi Shmei Rabbah mivarach olam ulamei almaya, Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, V'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal Shmei d'kudesha barichu, Ve'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, Tushbachata v'nechamata, da'amiram be'alma v'imru, Amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru, Amen. Osei shalom v'imromav, hu ya'asei shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel v'imru, Amen. Yoshvei tevel, all who dwell on the earth. If you're standing, please be seated. So at this moment of our services, instead of announcements, in our high holiday postcards just came in today, so we'll be getting them in your mailbox the next couple days. We like to share simchas, moments of joy. Before we share simchas, joy, we recognize that there's no simcha, no joy that is complete without gratitude. At Temple Beth Am, we are grateful that the Shabbat gathering is happening on coastal Salish land, especially of the Duwamish tribe. In addition to gratitude, as a community, we commit ourselves to learning more and continuing to actively support indigenous people and their tribes. For example, Temple Beth Am offers a monthly donation to the United Indians of All Tribes Foundation. But actually not but and we'd love to hear some simchas from you in the community if you choose. And we'd like to hear what something joyful or happy, could be big, could be small, of this past week as a way to share, to sweeten all of our Shabbats, and maybe to get to know each other a little bit. So you can say congratulations, or that sounds awesome, whatever you want to share, to get to connect and meet. Yes. And I'm going to repeat for those at home so they can hear too. 3 kids you're fostering at your house? Kittens. I was about to ask, 3 kittens that you're fostering. Thank you for doing that. Sophie? Your mom's birthday yesterday. You look great for 30. You really do. Oh, here with daughter. Kiva. Dad got a puppy. Oh, there's a lot of animals going on. Stephanie. Celebrated 46th anniversary result of Louis. Oh. Bunch of people hanging out at the congregants' pool. They got a nice one too. Oh my goodness. Yes. What? Celebrating 50 years anniversary. That is amazing. Woohoo. I know that because I spent a lot of time with them. Yeah. Please. Say again? Your tortoise has loved, really? Tortoise has loved the heat. I don't know anything about tortoises. I don't know anything about, that's cool. Good for that tortoise. All right. Yeah? You went in the hot tub? That's awesome. I would say ill-advised, but awesome. Oh, we're going to the swimming pool and doing water play tomorrow. That's our plan. A couple more blessings of Kiddush and Motzi, blessing over grape juice or wine. For those of you at home, please share your simchas and grab a glass as well. And also blessing over the challah. So do the blessing for the Kiddush on page number 5. And then for the challah, since we're not sharing food just yet, one of you is going home with the challah. So think about who wants to take the challah home with them. But first, we do Kiddush. Page 5.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushana b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho ve'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu Zikaron le'maaseh v'reishit ki hu yom tehila lemikra kodesh zecher l'tziat Mitzrayim ki vanu v'charta ve'otanu kidashta mekol ha'amim V'shabbat kodshecha ve'ahava uvratzon hinchaltanu Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh hashabbat lechaim.
Oh, it's wine today. All right.
Lucky.
Yay, non-bar mitzvah weeks. No offense. Would anybody like a challah? Someone. Come on, great. Come on up, grab a challah. You're going to take a challah bite for all of us, so it's a kosher blessing. And for these of you at home, grab whatever you got. And together, let's join in the words of Motzi.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam amotzi lechem min haaretz b'te'avon.
Thank you, Max. Enjoy. Have some French toast. Enjoy it. I also want to say thanks to Andy and to Tarn, to Jamie and to Kim and Louie and Stephanie and Andy. We will have services on the air conditioning tomorrow morning, hopefully outside next week. And stay cool, stay relaxed. And let's close with a prayer of peace. Oseh Shalom. Let's enjoy our moment together.
Oseh Shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu, ve'al Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, v'imru Amen. Oseh Shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, v'imru Amen. La 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 la
Shabbat shalom.